Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I have a returning guest, Dean Rogers, with me today, which I'm really excited about. He actually did something the other day that was awesome, and he reached out and says, "Let's tell this story." So we got this scheduled inside of 48 hours, and I'm gonna let Dean tell the story. So welcome to the show, Dean. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
What's up, Zuber?
I'm doing great, man. Do me a favor. Let's just remind folks that they didn't see your original interview. Who is Dean Rogers? What part of the investing game you're in? Where you are in this great state of California, and we'll go from there.
Yep. All right. So, Dean Rogers, co-owner of Home Helpers Group. I live in San Diego. Been doing real estate for 6 years. I grew up in a town called Visalia, Central California. Interesting information. I don't know if I shared this last time. Ever since I started real estate investing, the entire time, it's always been virtual. When I first started, I was in San Francisco, working a corporate job up there at the headquarters, started virtually doing it in Central California. Then I moved to San Diego, continued doing it virtually. So, been great. I knew that this was kind of my calling. Right out of college, I went to play for the San Diego Chargers. And, once I went from tight end to fullback and beating my head in every day, I realized, this probably isn't a good career, lifelong choice. So I moved on, and just started diving right into to the business world, and knew that real estate was immediately, gave me the opportunity for financial freedom, allowed me to make of it what I wanted. And then fast forward through, all the last interview, life lessons, all the ups and downs, and getting, punched in the face on some of these deals. Had the realization in 2018 that rentals, single family homes, were going to be, my path for financial freedom, being able to actually, wake up and decide what I want to do and have the freedom and choice, having more choices and freedom. So, just really just hunker down, focus there. 2019, reposition my business in its rentals first. If it doesn't work for that, we'll wholesale it. And potentially if it makes sense, we'll flip it as well. And, excited to share some information today. There's a million different topics and niches that I could go into, but this one in particular, this one really gets me juiced up and excited. And I think your audience, one rental at a time, will be really excited to hear about it too.
I think it was a great idea, and I really appreciate you reaching out saying, "Zuber, we should talk about this. It's awesome." But I just want to applaud you and again remind folks that are out there. Dean is arguably very, very successful flipper or a wholesaler, right? But he realized when he looked himself in the mirror, he doesn't want another job, right? Right, being a wholesaler is a job. So he switched his whole business to rentals first.
Absolutely.
I just think that's awesome. So, okay, so rentals first, right? You go about acquiring these. So let's just talk about the acquisition process. As I understand it, you use private or hard money once you find a deal, because you're still ridiculously good at that. So you find a deal. You said you want to keep it as a rental. I'm assuming you still secure it with private or hard money up front while you value add the units. Is that fair?
Exactly. So all these rental properties, we approach it just like we would when we were flipping properties. We were flipping 80 to 100 houses a year. And in order to scale to that size, we were using private money or hard money in, a smaller, less times than we would private. But yeah, so we'll finance it with private money. And that's huge for us to just be able to scale and not just kind of do it onesie twosies at a time. Really allows us to maximize the opportunities.
Yeah. So you come in, you obviously get a relationship going with a private or hard money lender. You get the timeframes down 10 or 14 days. You now own the asset. Right. So just so the audience knows, right, are your lenders coming in just for purchase price, or is it purchase price plus repairs, all the repairs, 80%? Why don't we structure a deal for them? Because the end result's going to be so cool. I don't want to miss the pieces before that.
Yeah. So every situation is going to be different. But just to give you what's typical, what's the most typical is a private lender coming in and financing the purchase price and the rehab. no money out of pocket for us, really convenient. For them, they're keeping their money active and getting a high rate of return in a safe investment, especially working with someone who's experienced like ourselves. Another situation that's also just as common is we'll have one private lender finance the purchase price and be in the first position. We'll then have another private lender finance the rehab, be in the second position.
There you go. So basically what we're going to take from this to lead to what we're just about to answer is none of your own money is involved. Some time for sure, right? You got to find the deal. You got to market the deal,
certainly.
that. And then you got to manage the process. But okay, so let's get through the repair, remodel, whatever it is, 2-4 weeks, whatever. You stick a tenant in, and now it's time to exit the private money, exit the hard money, right? So what has happened, right? You just did 5 of these the other day. You sent me a picture of them. Let's tell that story because it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was literally just yesterday. Signed closing documents for 5 properties we're refinancing right now, and that's the goal. Just similarly for someone who's flipping properties, they get a private lender, hard money lender, finance it. They have the event of selling it. That money is then cashed out, and they put money in the bank. Well, oftentimes with a rental property, if you're using private lender as well, it's very similar. You're going to purchase it, you're going to fix it up, and then you're going to refinance it and, cash that private lender out. So for the private lenders we've been working with for a long time, positioning or kind of repositioning and focusing on rentals was very easy. Similar, same process essentially for them, no different, but we're transparent and open, let them know, really what our business goals are and focus. And that worked out just fine for them.
So, okay, you go back and you do the refinance, they're cashed out, but what happens to you?
Yeah. So this is the exciting part, right? This is the part, this is the exciting part. So what's really cool about these, and first, maybe I'll step back and just give, what are the 3 most common scenarios that I see with buying a rental? And this is me personally, it could be a different flavor or some sort of blurred, version in between. But the most 3 common situations are going to be you purchase the rental, you remodel it, put the renter in there, you refinance it, and in the first scenario, you have a little bit of money invested in it, right? Name a number, it could be that much invested, right? 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is. You could consider it your down payment or your investment to fix it up. The second scenario, you go through that same exact process and you go to refinance it and you do what's called a rate and term loan, right? That means you're not looking to get any money out of it. You just want to basically pay off those lenders and your loan covers that. And obviously it has to be a certain, loan to value. What's typical that I'm seeing is anywhere from, 70 to 80%. Most commonly it's 75% is the magic number, is what you can get for a loan compared to what the appraised value is. So that situation, for me, I've got no money in it. I get no money out of it. I got a fully, refinanced property, cash flowing, that's awesome in itself. What I'm super excited about is the latter, the third option, which is called a cash out refinance. Now, this is where it's really exciting because you're benefiting from there's just a laundry list of items that you're benefiting from. So you've got it fully financed from private lender to purchase and remodel it. You then refinance the property, right? You now got a long-term financing, an even lower rate than what the private lender's, interest rate was. You got a 30-year fixed loan. And besides just all the normal benefits you get, which we'll list in a second, you actually get cash out from it, a cash out refinance. So you can have no money in the deal and get extra money. You could call it fun money, but in reality, it's tax-free money that you put in the bank. So you have no money in the deal. And it's almost, I was explaining to you earlier, it's almost like you did a flip. You flip a house, you profit, you put it in the bank. You don't own the house anymore. Someone else does. In this case, You basically flip it, you remodel it, you refinance it, put money in the bank, and you get to keep it. Cash flow, you get the depreciation, it's getting paid down by someone else year after year. I mean, how could you mess that up? That's pretty cool. And you have equity in the property. You could sell it and profit from it. You have, a benefit to your net worth, which helps you in many different ways for, financing deals and, financial statements. So, dude, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. So let's just use some round numbers, because this is so awesome. I want to make sure nobody misses it. So you did this 5 times yesterday. Let's just assume they were all $200,000 homes, right? So you went in, so 5 times 200 grand is $1 million in value, right? So you did a 75% loan. We'll just assume across the board. So you got loans for $750,000, again, in this example. But what you're saying is your private lenders who you used to buy and repair were only owed $650. So you paid them off. You took, I'm just going to make stuff up, 12% hard or private money, which was short term. You refied it to today's rates at, 5 3/4. And the banks handed you $100,000 in this example.
Exactly.
Oh, that doesn't suck.
Doesn't suck too bad. Yeah, that's right. To give you an example, we just did, of those 5, there was another 3 that just closed a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Okay.
Of those 8 properties, they're all very kind of low price properties.
Sure.
I added just over $500,000 in equity, net worth, to the bottom line. We're putting about $100,000 in the bank, tax free.
Wow.
And added 8 cash flowing properties, depreciation, equity. I mean, it's ticking all the boxes. All of our private lenders all benefited from these short-term loans, getting high rate of returns. Everybody is winning. The bank has a very easy time financing. I mean, these were all under 70% loan to value. Every single one of them were in the 60% range.
Wow.
So the bank's like, yeah, take my money.
Yeah.
Go ahead. This is an extremely low risk investment. We put money in the bank, and net worth has gone up just from those 8, over $500,000. That, to me, that's really cool.
Yeah, I want to hit this. We've both said it once before. I want to hit it again. So this money you put in the bank, in my example, $100,000, right? Do you have to pay taxes on that?
You do not.
And why is that?
Tax-free money.
Why is that?
Because I'm not a financial expert, so
because it's a loan, you don't pay taxes on loans.
There you go.
It's a loan. It's not income, right? You pay taxes under the IRS rules for income, and a loan is not income, right? Because you were signing up for debt for that. So yeah, you got an extra $100,000. Really, the answer to this is Dean Rogers is so good at buying that he can run a full remodel process, keep the debt, which would be the hard money debt, below 70% LTV. Once rented at market, you can go to a bank who will gladly cash out the private lenders and hand you, in your example, $100,000 for your 8 properties, because you are that darn good. That's what that is. Whether you see it that way or not, it's the reality. You're just that good.
Well, thanks. I appreciate the compliments, but that doesn't come with a lot of practice and trial and error. But you know what? Once you, to the point of your book, if you don't start, you're not going to learn, right?
Yes.
If you don't get on the bike, you're not going to learn how to ride it and ride it without the training wheels. That's all that it is. It's just all muscle memory at this point.
Yeah. Because
we're just swinging the bat every single day. We're looking at properties. Just today, I even sent you a message. We got another property under contract, a little 1-bedroom, 1-bath in Fresno.
Yeah.
I'll take it. That we'll be selling. We'll be selling for $65,000. So, these are easy to come by now for us because we've got a lot of practice at it. But doesn't mean that anybody can't do it. I'm just a regular guy. You're a regular guy.
Absolutely.
It's just effort and energy put towards it. and the benefit that we'll see, for the rest of our lives is, it's almost unmeasurable.
No, and again, that's really the point of the book, right? One rental at a time. It is muscle memory, right? How did I build one rental at a time when I've never lived in Fresno, right? I've never spent the night, which people still think is mind-boggling, right? 200 units and I never spent the night. But it's because I looked at the market every day for 10 years, right? And when you do that, and you do that with repetition and intention and focus, you can learn a market, and you can find those one or two deals that pop up every month that are different, right? I built our portfolio out of the multiple listing service. When people say they can't buy out of the MLS, baloney. It can be. In your situation, you have a system and processes in place to go direct to sellers, look for motivation. It's awesome, but it's muscle memory, right? It's not something you're born with, right? It's something you've learned over time. Is that fair?
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And to your point, you start with one. I think you got to get focused. What I did myself and so many others have, and if I go back, tell myself, give myself a lesson, don't have the shiny object syndrome.
Thank you.
There's just real estate in itself. There is a million things you could do. And just with single family houses alone, which is just one asset class of so many, amongst so many others, there's a million things you can do with just single family homes. So just get focused on what you do. If it's rentals, which, light bulb moment went off for me, that's the truth there. Right.
Yeah.
And the light at the end of the tunnel. I think if you get focus on what you like, focus on a price point, focus on a type of property, and just get laser focused there. Then you'll start to realize what a deal looks like.
Yes.
And then you build the muscle memory. Then if you like, you can expand it a little bit more and grow some other things. I mean, if I'm expanding my mind, can't help but think about apartment buildings. I mean, I know people, I'm doing my measly $100,000 cash out refi. I know people who talk about doing $1 million cash out refis, tax-free money in the bank. But again, stay focused. Don't listen to the people doing the big, huge monster deals and, spend your life chasing those. Get focused. Single family houses are easy. Can you mess up? Sure. But if you stay focused, you're going to build that muscle memory, and it's going to be, you're going to reduce your risk, and, you're going to get good at it.
Yeah, I couldn't echo shiny object more. I think so many people try to do 5 or 6 things at one time, and it's like running 6 different races and not getting anywhere, right? Stop it. Pick your lane, stay in your lane, and stay in your lane twice as long as you think you should, right? When you think it's boring and you figured it out, you're wrong, right? You haven't.
Yeah.
you need to double that time frame. So I couldn't agree more. I am curious now that you've switched the business to rentals, what does your portfolio look like today? Obviously, you have the 8 that we've already talked about. Is that kind of where you are? What's the portfolio look like roughly?
Yeah. So since 2018 to date, we're at 32 rentals.
Wow.
And I'd have to go back. I didn't prepare this, but the number of doors, I can't remember the number of doors. There's a mixture of, there's a 6-plex in there.
Okay.
There's a handful of 4-plexes.
So let's call it
there's a couple
60
triplexes.
doors. Let's call it roughly 60.
Yeah, and it might be a little more than that.
Okay.
A couple duplexes too, but high majority of those are single family homes, and I definitely enjoy having rentals.
Yeah.
And
you
I want to grow it
0
to 150 in the next 4 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's where I was going next. All right, so we're at 60. Yeah. Call it middle of 19, and you want to get to 150. You said. Yeah,
and I don't want to. There's a couple different ways you measure it: doors or physical properties. I want to be tough on myself and challenge myself to physical properties, not doors.
Oh, I like the way you think.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this is going to be fun to watch. I'm glad we're connected on Facebook and all those other things. So that's impressive. So, all right. So you've got to do 30 properties a year, roughly.
That's right. Yeah. 36 is what my number is.
Okay.
Is my goal.
Oh my God, that's 3 a month. I'm just doing math.
Yes, it is.
Oh, must be nice to be Dean Rogers. I like it.
I'm hoping. It's a lot of work right now, but definitely pay off. So
there you go. So I'm curious, given you're in San Diego, a lot of these are in the Central Valley.
Yep.
I'm guessing you have a property manager, or is that part of the Home Helpers group, or what is that like? Who manages?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mentioned before, co-owner. I started this company 6 years ago, grew it to a partnership. Another guy local to Visalia, rock star there, been in the business since he was out of high school. Family's been in the business. Everybody knows him. He's boots on the ground. So, we get a property. Usually he's driving to get eyes on it, maybe even walk it if we get the opportunity or if we need to. We have bought, plenty sight unseen as well. Then when it comes to the project itself, he might take on the project and manage it himself. So he's basically can be project manager as well. Or what's really key is having a team property manager. We do have a property manager, manages all of our 32 properties, and having that resource to not only be a sounding board to tell us, hey, what do we think we can rent this for? Mm-hmm. But to source, all of the tenants, to manage all that process, that's a lot of effort all in itself.
Yeah.
They'll help with project repairs. So we're in constant communication with the property manager. And that is, instrumental to having a good property manager, and to have them at a fair, good price as mm-hmm. well is really key, I think, to the whole equation.
Well, let's not be confused. You didn't say this, but I will. Your superpower is finding or creating relationships, finding motivated sellers. That's by superpower, I mean, that's the highest reward for your time. You should outsource everything else, which includes sourcing tenants and property management and all that
Absolutely.
Other stuff. Time is your kryptonite, right? You only have so much time in the day. And when it's
no doubt about it.
If you were given 2 hours a day to property management, you would source less deals.
Yes, no doubt about it. Yeah.
So very cool.
Time to value there is huge.
Yeah. Know what you're good at. Don't step over, what is it? Step over dollars to pick up pennies, or whatever the saying goes, something like that.
Yeah.
Know what you're good at. So, okay. So we've talked about what you're doing in the future. I guess we'll just go back to this. Is there anything that we've documented that is hard that any average person could do?
Yeah, anybody can do this. I mean, What separates the person who's not doing it and the person that is doing it is first and foremost just starting and putting the effort. I'm 31 now. What I've learned at the ripe age of 31 is to this date is, just about anybody can do a lot when it comes to business. I can't be a doctor. I'm not going to go be a brain surgeon. There are some specialty, professions. But when it comes to, just owning a business, or let's just focus on real estate. When it comes to real estate, any bozo can do it. I have seen bozos do it.
I have too.
That haven't graduated high school. They can hardly put a sentence together, but they are so laser focused. They've mastered their craft and learned the specialty, and they just keep going and are extremely successful. So only thing that's separating an average Joe or even a smart person from being successful or not is just first starting and then putting a lot of effort in. That's going to compound on itself. The more you continue to put into it and stay focused and consistent, you're going to get that back, and it's just going to compound on itself. And then it becomes the muscle memory. And, oh my gosh, I just got a text today. We got a deal. Hey, someone else just sent me another lead. Those things just start happening, just like I know they happen to you.
Absolutely.
This wasn't your specialty or your focus when you started your professional career.
No chance.
You got focused. You put the effort in, and now people just call you because they know about you. They know you do deals.
Yep.
That's how it happens.
Absolutely. I love this, Dean. Let's just close with this. This business allows you to do some very creative things, but we also get to reap the rewards when we want. And I know you just stepped out to Europe for a little family vacation. So let's realize that, some pretty sweet things come out of this. So, without getting into too much detail, where'd you go? How long did you go? The whole family went. What was that like?
Yeah, so it's pretty awesome. So we went to Italy for 2.5 weeks. Took the kids with us. So I got a 3.5-year-old and a 14-month, just over 1-year-old. And, we went, to Rome. We went to the Amalfi Coast, went to Amalfi and Positano. I mean, just beautiful, beautiful place in the world. We rented boats a couple times, private boats, where we just took them out and, rode around and kind of island hopped and stuff. So it was pretty dang cool. But, I had the freedom to do that. And even while we were gone to different time zones, while I'm putting the kids down to bed, people are just getting started, in California, and checking in with the team, seeing how things are going. We did a couple of deals while I was gone, closed on some deals, got some new deals. So awesome. It's pretty dang cool.
Yeah, all you need is internet connection, right? If you've done this, you've done the muscle memory, you got a team, you have internet connection. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can still do deals and do business. So, Dean, I love this story.
That's absolutely right.
I love how you've created value. Your private money, I love it. Private money lenders won, the sellers won, tenants won, and you and your family won. Your legacy, future wealth, depreciation, cash flow, and $100,000 in the bank. That tax free. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you for reaching out. I'm glad we got to tell this story. How can people get a hold of you?
Thanks for the opportunity.
Of course. How can people go?
So again, Dean Rogers from Home Helpers Group. I think the best and easiest way is to just reach out to me. You can reach me on Instagram at Home Helpers Group. You can shoot me an email, dean@homehelpersgroup.com. Those are some of the two easiest ways to get a hold of me.
Very, very cool, man. Well, thank you very much. This has been so much fun, and just keep doing what you're doing, man. It's really working.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Zuber.
You got it, man.